Hi, it's Riza, and today I'm going to talk about my least favorite books of 2017. These books, to put it plainly, I thought were dumb, so that's why they're on my list. But anyways, let's just get to roasting some of your favorite books of 2017. First one is going to be Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This is a YA fantasy revolving a town in the middle of the woods where a girl is taken every 10 years, I believe. They're highly anticipating the return of this witch warlock person to take another girl from the town, and the main character can't even remember what her name is. She was so boring. She grows up knowing that she's not going to be the one that's taken. She's a plain Jane type of character. She's not the most beautiful, she's not the bravest, she's not the most talented one. Anyways, they all think that it's going to be this other girl that gets taken, but lo and behold, the warlock person comes. He actually takes someone else. And that's where the story starts off. I think mainly my issues with this book was that I expected it to be a high fantasy standalone novel, and that's what I was really excited for. But it ended up being a very fairy tale-esque / magical realism type read. It wasn't what I was looking for, nor is it something that I generally like to read. Magical realism is not my thing. I ended up not really enjoying Uprooted, unfortunately, because of my expectations, but that's totally on me. Another book that I thought was dumb is The Forbidden Wish by Jessica Curry. This book I had such high hopes for. It had all these things going for it: Genie in the Bottle retelling, YA fantasy, standalone, and then the story was just really boring. It was very dry. I wasn't excited about anything. I thought that the plot twist at the end was a little predictable. There was nothing really spectacular about this book for me. So if you're looking for a retelling, don't read this one. An adult sci-fi book that I was really excited for is Armada by Ernest Cline. If you are thinking, oh man, Ready Player One was amazing, Armada is going to be great because the author that wrote that book wrote this book, and I have nothing to lose by reading this book, you do have something to lose. You could potentially lose 3 hours of your life reading this terrible book. It was again sprinkled with a lot of 80s references to video games and pop culture, but while in Ready Player One it was done really tastefully, in Armada there was just so much and it was a little ridiculous at times. The plot, while it was really exciting, felt kind of used and cliche. Like, oh my gosh, this video game that you've been playing your whole life, guess what? It's actually real life. Your dad's not dead. All this like cliche stuff is happening. I don't know if those were spoilers, but anyways, ultimately I thought this book was dumb because it wasn't Ready Player One. Another YA fantasy series that I thought I was really going to enjoy based on some recommendations of friends is the Tearling series by Erica Johansson. I read The Queen of the Tearling, which is book 1, and book 2, The Invasion of the Tearling. I honestly could not get through these books. My issues with the Tearling series is that the main character, Kelsey, couldn't get over the fact that she was not beautiful. It would come up like every single chapter. It would just be highlighted like, oh, these women are more beautiful than I am. Oh, I'm not as beautiful as her. Oh, I'm just plain and my beauty is not something to be admired. Like, yes, we get it, you're a plain Jane. You are a normal person like the rest of us in the world and you're not beautiful. But the book really needs to let you know that she's not beautiful. And she also has some girl on girl hate. Like, she hates everyone around her who is beautiful or in any way talented, and she really belittles herself for that. I wasn't really a huge fan of that because she was just hating on these other people based on attributes that they had no control over. They were just born that way. Like, you were just born that way too. Get over it, Kelsey. I had such high expectations for it because Emma Watson is set to produce and star and direct in it or something like that. Whatever, I don't care, because this book was dumb. A YA fantasy finale that I was highly anticipating this year and was ultimately really disappointed by is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. This finale was terrible for so many reasons. 1, the plot. Not really exciting, kind of boring at times. The final battle as well was just very problematic. There were a lot of things going on and a lot of things that just tied up a little too nicely for me. I feel like everyone got their happy ending in this book, especially with the inner circle and everyone getting matched up and paired up and getting with their mates and whatever. Life isn't like that, and I thought that, yes, this is a book, but I feel like someone should have died. We need to feel something. We need to feel sad. We need to know that when people die, or when these fae die, that they actually die. Like, there's no coming back. Because Sarah J Maas has introduced that layer into her books where there is a way to bring people back, hint hint, the first book, it's just expected, and that sense of urgency is not there anymore when someone's near death, because you know that they could be brought back to life one day. But yeah, this book was dumb because it was predictable and everyone got a happy ending. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Mixed feelings. On the one hand, I know that you have to take this for what it is, and the fact that it is a play and not a book can definitely color your interpretation of it, but you put this out as a book. If you wanted to put out something good, don't make it a play that was supposed to be a book. Put out a real book. It was missing a lot of things like the atmosphere, the descriptions, and feeling like you're really at Hogwarts isn't there. This is stuff that's going to be supplied by the environment of the play, of course, but it was really lacking in this book. I think as well, because I didn't see it live, the time traveling and the plot movements in this book just didn't really come together for me. I was really disappointed by this one, and I thought this was dumb because I can't afford a ticket to London, nor can I afford a ticket to watch the show. So I had to read it instead. Another book that I was kind of meh about this year is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This is the ultimate fandom book for the ultimate fangirl, fanboy, but it was just kind of okay. I am not a huge fan of YA contemporaries, but I really did love Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. I thought that Cather and Levi were just kind of interesting characters. I was really frustrated with Cather because she just wouldn't do something. She's shy and introverted, but I am also shy and introverted, and I can still get up and do stuff. Because I didn't really like Fangirl, I don't know if I'm gonna give Carry On a chance, because honestly all the excerpts of Simon and Baz were things that I skipped when I read Fangirl. I wasn't really feeling it. This book would have been great for me to pick up maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Of all the books that I read last year, the one book that I own and didn't like is Renegades by Marissa Mayer. Fortunately, this book has its cover going for it because this cover is beautiful. Unfortunately, this book moved at an incredibly slow pace that was like 20 pages per plot point. This book could have been condensed to maybe a 300, 400 page book, but it sits at a whopping 600. You only really get to know 2 of the main characters, whereas it would have been really nice to get to know the other side characters. Nova's crew, who live in the railroads. I really enjoyed those characters. Mainly the characters were so rich and you're excited and you want to know what happens. Despite the fact that this book was moving at a snail pace for its entirety, I'm still excited to finish this duology because there are only 2 books. Also, the concept of this book, The Anarchists versus the Renegades, I really enjoyed that. I know that a lot of people have read this and everyone has a different opinion, but I just think this book was dumb because it was a waste of tree. And finally, a book that I did not finish reading in 2017 but was absolutely terrible is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab, the audiobook. I just need to talk about this because I'm falling in love and discovering so many more audiobooks out there and finding my favorite narrators and all that. And I was really excited about the audiobook for this one because I thought, oh my goodness, this book, the Shades of Magic series, is set in London. They're gonna have a female like British narrator and then a male British narrator, and it'll be so amazing to be swept into this world. It'll be like a Harry Potter movie, but V.E. Schwab's world. And the narrator is American. That is so dumb. Why do you have a book that is clearly set in London, 4 of them to be sure, narrated by an American? I think that this was a terrible narration choice on their part, whoever is in charge of casting these things, but y'all need to redo it because this book could be so great, but you chose the wrong narrator and that's why it sucked. This book was so dumb. Anyways, those were the worst books that I read of 2017. All of these books I found dumb. So if you've read these, leave me a comment so that we can chat about our feelings, and I'll see you soon in another video. Bye!